Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, we are live with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. This time we have Nick Libert with us today. Nick is the owner and CEO of one of Exit Realty's largest franchises in America out there in Chicago. He is a 22-year veteran, both agent and investor. I am super excited to have Nick here. Nick, thank you for hopping on the show.
Absolutely. It's an honor to be here, and always like to share things that I've done right and a lot of the things that I've done wrong and lost some money on, so people don't make the same dumb mistakes that I've done, and hopefully encourage people to put some systems in place so they can only see the best side of real estate investing.
Awesome. And I love that you said systems in the beginning, because that is one of my favorite topics. I also like that your background is essentially a job site. We were talking before the show. It sounds like that's actually your house. So it's not really a job site, but
it is a job site, but it is my house. I do a lot of investing elsewhere, and I just got tired of looking at my tired old kitchen. Also, my house is a source of equity for me. I was lucky enough to, through the residual bonus system, my real estate brokerage brand, pay off this property. So I'm now able to turn around and use the equity in the property if I so choose to put money into these incredible investments, because right now everything out there seems to cash flow based on these record low interest rates. But I think later on, you're going to probably ask me about some mistakes I've made, and I can tell you about buying too high and getting involved in the euphoria of just buying to buy. So this was actually one of my best investments ever. I kept it as my primary residence, and it's getting a little facelift right now. We're doing some stuff to it that mechanically needed to get done, and then cosmetically needed to get done. I have hired that work out, and I thought, you know what? Rather than drive to a job site or to my brokerage office, which is never in construction, why not talk to you live? Because again, I think a lot of people race out to invest in real estate and they haven't really even thought of what they need to do with their primary budget and their primary residence. I'm assuming there's people that are going to be watching this of all different experience levels. That's something that I made a mistake with at the beginning, was I didn't have my financial house in order. Making a good amount of money in real estate as a broker, as an agent, but my financial house wasn't in order before I went out and started buying things. So the minute there was any sort of contraction in my income, there was a disaster as well. So don't do what I did.
I love hearing those lessons. I know those things are always painful in the moment, but we get over them, and then you can share them with the new investors so they don't make the same mistakes you did. Before we get there, though, I always start out every episode with stories. I like to hear, how did you get from point A to point B? You have 22 years of experience as an investor, so you got time behind you, you got experience. How did that start? Take us from the beginning and kind of how you got started in real estate in the first place.
Absolutely. Well, I went under contract on my first property as an investor. First of all, my mom and my grandfather always instilled in me that you had to invest in yourself and invest in your future and creating a legacy. And real estate was always a very important part of that for them. They're like, you want to own your own property. You want to own other properties that will help build towards a retirement. And so at 20 years old, that had always been pumped into me. I bought my first investment property right around my 20th birthday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And, you know, I met the realtor and she was great. And in the meantime, I'd met some other realtors that were, you know, they seemed very nice. They put signs in the yard. They drove nice cars. I didn't really know what they did, but they seemed to all make really good money. That was my first mistake, was thinking that all real estate agents make good money. And so I got my real estate license, partially, honestly, to cut the real estate agent out of the deal. I did not think I was going to end up being a realtor forever. 22 years later, here I am. Still, my primary source of income most years is real estate sales as an agent. I own a brokerage now, but when I started, I just went and worked for someone else, always with the intent of being an investor. I found out that most traditional brokerages didn't respect agent investors. They kind of threw them in a corner or, you know, penalized them commission-wise for doing so. There was no training or coaching program for realtors in terms of financial responsibility, because they wanted, these big brokerages wanted the realtors to go out and, you know, pump money back into the owner's pockets. And I just didn't like that. So that was 1998 when I started with a big box brand. 2001, I walked out the door, thought I knew everything, wanted to keep 100% of my commission. So I started my own company, continued investing in real estate, made some good choices in the early 2000s, you know, which benefited me for a while, put cash in my pocket, did some buy and hold real estate investments that were good, a couple flips that were good. But I realized I didn't have systems in place. And so I started studying the industry, both as an agent and an investor. And I realized that I wasn't going to be able to reinvent the wheel every day. I'm a really good implementer. I'm not always the best innovator. So knowing that, I looked to systems. I eventually got bought out by kind of a hybrid model, because the small mom and pop shops, it's tough to innovate every day. The big box brands weren't really a fit for a lot of us, and especially as the internet has continued to change the brokerage landscape and even the investor landscape, things have changed to the point where the hybrid models are really attractive. Ended up kind of landed at Exit Realty in 2008. Really liked the residual bonus structure, the multiple streams of income philosophy behind the brand, the whole living, well-balanced life philosophy. It wasn't just about sales. It was about empowering the agent to create a legacy. And I'm like, this is what I've been trying to do for a decade. Where were you guys? And Exit Realty wasn't really in Chicago until around 2006. I joined in 2008 as an agent, decided I want to kick the tires before I bought a franchise. 2009, I always have terrible timing. 2009, I bought a franchise right as the market is going like this. And had a very interesting few years, but got into foreclosures, short sales heavily as an agent. It saved my personal business. It saved our brokerage. And, you know, one of the properties that I bought, actually the only one I had the money to really buy at the bottom of the market, was my primary residence, the one that I still keep as my kind of my nest egg. And that's what we're in right now. And so a lot of investors, I watched people lose everything. I watched realtors and investors lose everything, and it broke my heart. It nearly broke my bank account as well. And I said, I'm never going to let that happen to me again. And I'm going to make smarter choices. And so that was when I started to put some systems in place as an agent and as an investor. Then in 2014 and 15, those systems have really been cranking for a couple of years, and I got a little greedy again, and I started doing flips. The first two worked out great, one at a time. So what do? You buy three at a time. And that was a disaster. And I also realized that I hadn't associated with the right people. I didn't have the right team. I had a couple contractors that just took me not only to the cleaners, but to the designer suits manufacturer, bought all the suits on my dime. These guys just, you know, really killed me because my eye was off the ball. I wasn't paying attention. Yep. And it harmed everything but my brokerage. So I really got out of the flip game and wanted to put some systems in place that when I did go back into that part of the industry, that I would have a system and a model, which we can talk about that later. And so I put that into place. And now I've gotten back into the buy and hold part of it as well, because everything has its season in real estate. I watched some people in 2006, 7, and 8 stay completely out of the market. They were friends of mine doing very good. They bought their condos with me or their single family homes or whatever that was with me. Maybe they'd invested with me in the early 2000s. And I'm sitting there in 2006 and 7 going, hey guys, what do you want to buy? You know, this is great. Market's going up. And they were smarter than the rest of us. And they said, this market's getting too hot. The numbers don't work. You know, if I can't cash flow on an investment property, whether it's a condo, single family home, or multi-unit, why am I doing this? You can't bank on appreciation. I'm going, that's what my grandpa said. You know what? My grandpa was right. My mom was right. And those guys were right. They sat it out, hoarded their cash. And in 2010, 11, they came in and bought all the stuff pennies on the dollar. Meanwhile, dum-dums like me, you know, I got one place pennies on the dollar, which is, you know, again, my primary residence. But I watched that. I've watched flippers go crazy with the flips. Stop following a system or a formula because they know it all. I was one of those guys. And, you know, it ended up, I got on a little TV show called The Deed. It was really fun to be on a TV show. I could have saved myself $250,000 and just bought some TV ads and seen myself on TV for a lot less money. But The Deed, I always will thank Sean Conlon, who is the man behind The Deed that is the star of that show, you know, for putting me on an episode because it kind of highlighted the dumb things I did to a much greater audience. Because I think sometimes real estate investors, it looks very glamorous. It looks like easy money, the same way real estate agents. Think of one of the two most popular shows out there right now. Real estate agents, $1 million listings, you know, flip this home, all these things. And then you realize the underbelly of this industry, or both parts of the industry, are really ugly. A lot of people lose everything. Yeah. So I'd rather be transparent and embarrass myself a little bit and show you some of the systems that have consistently worked for people around me and have worked for myself, and share the mistakes so that hopefully a lot of people can avoid the really bad times that I'd come home to in this kitchen when I had done things that I knew didn't really always make sense.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I said it at the beginning of the episode, and I'll say it now. You've mentioned systems multiple times, and I like that you do that because that is what allows you to grow, not just as a small time investor, just doing what here or there, but actually grow a business. And it sounds like you made a few mistakes, which is great. It's difficult in the moment that it happens. It's always difficult, but it's great in the long run because you learn stories and then you can pass that knowledge on to us. One thing that I kind of wanted to comment on your story, I liked that you kind of got started 20 years old with your family. It's basically telling you that this is a good path to go down. I'm kind of pushing you in that direction. I'm always jealous of people like that because I kind of happened upon real estate as a path, kind of just by happenstance. And if I'd gotten in earlier when I was younger, it would be a different story at this point. Not that I love where I'm at right now, but it's awesome that your family kind of gave you that push and pushed you in that direction.
Yeah, definitely.
So, there's a lot to go in with your story. You even have a TV show, which is awesome. You're only the second person on this podcast who has a TV show. And so you really have touched pretty much everything that comes into real estate. But I'd like to take it first to systems because it is, as I mentioned, it's one of the things that I found in my own business that have really catapulted the success that we see. Having something that's formulaic that you can repeat and not just kind of coming up with a new solution every time. So when it comes to your business, let's think, you do exit realty, which is great. It's a huge income for you. And then you also do investing. Let's just focus on the investing side for now. By the way, exit realty, I have nothing but good things to say about them. Every single broker that and real estate agent that I've heard or that I've interacted with from exit, they've just been awesome. So props to exit for creating a great culture out there. Let's talk about your investing side of the business. Systems, when it comes to systems, what are the things that you put in place to really catapult you to the next level to make sure that you aren't making mistakes along the way and catch those things before they happen?
So, and again, this has been a trial and error to do this. When I started investing, I never had a business plan. And that was, well, first off, let's start way at the beginning. I never had a vision. So now I have a vision board. What do I overall want in my life? What do I want? What do I want my life to look like? I don't want it to look like a torn up kitchen all the time. I want it to look a certain way and feel a certain way and have experiences for me and the people around me. I want there to be a value in the way that I invest in real estate. I want it to be profitable. I want it to help the neighborhood. I don't want to be an eyesore on the neighborhood. which I've been at times. So the vision board was important to me, but then the crucial piece of everything is the business plan. So you've got to have a vision, and then you've got to have a plan. And so a business plan, putting that into place, saying, here's what I want to do. Here's how it's going to look. Here's the who, where, whys, and whats. I hate like the people that are like, oh, I want to make $10,000 a flip. Okay, well, show me how you're going to do that. You know, what neighborhoods? Is it going to be a buy at a time? Is it going to be a bungalow or a single family home? Are you going to look at certain cash flow type investments? And then the other thing that I put into place is that the property, I have to have enough money up front to have at least a year to 18 months of absolutely no income on that property. And I came into this with a little bit of money. I burned through that money quickly. Later on, when I got back into investing the second time, and if you talk to a lot of investors, we get in, we get out, we get in, we get out. You know, but we always come back to it because it is good money. But with a plan, I've been able to say, okay, this is less stressful. I'm going to stay in these things for a long time. But having 12 to 18 months in reserves, if the property gives you nothing, because look at what's happened over the last 5 years in real estate. You had a great, huge amount of people going into the flips, which drove up the prices of the flips. The acquisition costs got too high. In the meantime, the contractors got busy. So you know what? They got a little either greedier or they got lazier. And not all of them. I have friends that are contractors, but there were some really bad guys out there, guys that turned bad or took on too much, just like some of the flippers did. And all of a sudden the numbers didn't work. And so sometimes the numbers changed while you were in the middle of the project and you sat waiting for a contractor, or you sat waiting for city permits like I did. You know, all these different things that go on. If you've got a 6-month window because that's what your of reserves, because that's what your contractor told you is going to happen, you have a problem. Because guess what? That could double, triple. So that was the first example of you need 12 to 18 months in reserves. The second example is that you really don't know what's coming. We're in a pandemic. Who would have thought? What did we always say? Rents never go down. That was my script because 2009, 10, and 11, values went down. Rents never did. Now here we're sitting. Values have stayed stable, which have been very surprising to me. But yet rents have gone down. So your property values stayed up, but your rents have gone down. Vacancies are way up. Commercial, God bless my friends in commercial. I just want to give them a hug right now that are investing in commercial and real estate. Somebody's going to be smart and pick stuff up for pennies on the dollar. But for the rest of us, did you have 12 to 18 months in reserves? I have a lot of friends and clients that got into the Airbnb game. If you're, you know, like some of them, they dabbled, they're smart with their money, but some went all in, put all their eggs in that basket, had very little in reserves because who isn't always going to want to travel, right?
Yep.
Whoops. Yeah. So I've been burned and lost so much money and really, you know, again, come home to this kitchen, not in the best shape. Personally, because I didn't have the right money in reserves. I always was like, well, you know, what could possibly go wrong? It's Murphy's Law, and Murphy lived here in my basement, I think, for years. So that really is what, to me, 12 to 18 months in reserves. The other thing that my system now, and this changed, was that I want to do one project at a time, whether that's a buy and hold, buy one at a time, get it really cash flowing well, and then get your next one. And I want to visit the property once a week. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to go and bang on every tenant's door once a week, but I'm going to go to my property once a week. And the reason why is contractors get busy, their eye goes off the ball. Your eye can't go off the ball. That's your money. That's your investment more it is than theirs. Yep. Neighbors get weird. You know, you shouldn't be an eyesore in the neighborhood. They could get a little odd too and do some interesting things. You know, vandalism, break-ins, particularly in an economy that's changing and people are struggling. And then, you know, last thing with the, you know, drive by once a week, make sure that the neighborhood is doing good things too. You know, is there anything you can do to help the neighborhood? Is there things that are positive going on in the neighborhood? I just like to be near that property once a week. And the last thing is, you know, have it, if I'm going to go by once a week, have it within a mile of my house. That's me personally, because as a real estate agent, I'm in my car already too many hours a day. So my whole business model, even in my real estate agent business, is I would like to be in the car less so I can be at home more, enjoying when it's finally done my kitchen and the rest of my home, because we also don't know how long we're going to be, you know, quarantined if we have a second wave. all the different things that are, I think this year had me go back and go to my whiteboards, which up in my home office room, I have whiteboards everywhere. I look like a crazy professor. I've got all this stuff where I'm like, I put systems in place because you will never know what happens next and you have to be prepared. Just insurance policies, things like that. This was the year to really take a step back. And I'm not sure everybody's there yet. I know I took a big step back and said, what do I want my world to look like? And in my investment world, buy one at a time, drive by it once a week, and have it within a mile of my house. So if I want to go jog past because the gyms are closed for the second wave of the pandemic, I can get my exercise in and multitask.
Yep, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, you really can't plan or nothing is guaranteed, especially, I mean, we've seen this with COVID, things that you think are never going to happen, like rents never going down. It can definitely happen. And I've kind of accepted that in my own business too. And so I'm taking notes here because 12 to 18 months is great. I usually do 6. So does that include your operating expenses as well? So, I mean, an example, property A, you're going to have the mortgage for 12 to 18 months in addition to the operating expenses for the property?
Well, absolutely. You know, if you want to pay the mortgage, but the electric and gas go off and you have burst pipes, because I've had those, I've had every possible thing go wrong. I've had utilities shut off before. You know, that is one of the most brutal things, whether it's by an accident or something else happening, power loss at a property, whether it's your fault or somebody else's. You've got to have all the operating expenses there too. You've got to pay your taxes. You've got to pay the insurance. And beyond what I've personally experienced, I've had my investors just completely go under. And what you've got to realize is you've got to have that money in reserves because you should not have to contribute out of your primary salary or your primary wage. I got into that position when I was in the 2016, 2017 prime of my flip disasters, where I was taking my personal real estate commissions when I'd sell a property and put them into my development company so that I could pay the bills for that development company. I got to tell you, there wasn't a lot of food in this kitchen either. It was absolutely brutal because I had to pay payroll at my office. I had to turn around and pay everybody else. And I'm like, I'm not living. This is somebody that's been through, at that point, 16, 17 years of real estate, made a lot of money. How the heck do you get into a position like that? You get into a position like that by not having enough money in reserves and thinking that everything's going to go great. The saving grace for me in that time period was the exit realty residuals, and I had a strong referral database of people that just kept feeding me business because I wasn't sitting there on social media going, woe is me. I'm like, look, here's my latest sale. Just don't come look at my house, that barely has food. But it really was a time, again, it was one of those learning experiences that I will not go back to a situation like that. And I have friends, and when I say younger, I don't mean in terms of age. I mean, I am now 42. But I have friends in all age ranges that are younger investors in terms of their experience where they're going, oh, that's fine. Those numbers work because, I can always pump money from my job at XYZ Consulting Company. Guess who got laid off really quick? Some of the guys at XYZ Consulting Company and the airlines and all these places that you've had a 5 to 10 year track record plus at these amazing companies that treated you like gold and probably would love to still treat you like gold, except there's a darn global pandemic. And who knows what will be the next thing to happen. I'm starting to sound like my grandpa more and more.
No, there's a reason as you age, you tend to be a little bit more conservative because you've gone through the ringer, just like you have. So I love it. You're erring on the side of caution, which is what everybody should be doing in real estate investing. We have blown through the 20-minute mark, so I'm going to have to push us into the final quick question round. And it starts out with books. I'm a huge bookie, so I like to ask people their favorite book in 2 categories, one for real estate investing and one for just general life wisdom.
Oh, I like that. So I'm going to give you 3 because I love books. The first, actually, no, I'll give you 2. I'm going to follow your instructions. I hate people that don't listen to their moderators. We've had enough of that in politics. So number 1, I think my best thing for real estate investing was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That is such, for some people, oh, that's a basic book. Read it again, because this is a year that everybody realized corporate America wasn't that great. And, that you really do control your own destiny. And Rich Dad Poor Dad, I reread it right before the pandemic. Odd timing. And like, I've owned my own companies for years. Why am I reading this again? I read it to get my real estate agents to read it with me and get passionate about what they're doing. And I just kind of refired me up, which thank gosh it did, because then we turned around and had a pandemic. But I love the idea of, you know, if you work for somebody else and you never even business plan, never even have a vision to work for yourself, you're always going to work for someone else, and they're not necessarily going to be able to treat you the right way, even if they have the intent to. And a lot of companies don't even have the intent. So that's the real estate book I love the most, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And then I am going to actually give you three because I can't figure out which one do I want to pick. They go hand in hand. The Miracle Morning changed my life. The Miracle Morning changed my life. I was always a night owl. You know, my mom and my grandpa gave me my best advice. My dad did not. My dad had a lot of issues as an entrepreneur. And one of the things I noticed was, you know, he didn't get up early, so I didn't get up early. And so growing up as a kid, I'd just get up late. You know, my mom was up real early. She was the one actually paying the bills. And, you know, she had a paper route. She had stuff that was just so demeaning to the average woman to pay our bills. But my dad slept in, so I slept in. That carried all the way through the first half of my real estate career. And I read The Miracle Morning, and I thought there's something about people. This is true. I don't need to even read the book. I'm looking around and why are there lights on at 5 and 6 in the morning in the bigger houses, and in the small houses with the nice cars? Somebody's doing something that I'm not. Read the book, implemented the book, took about 21 days. They say 21 days to make a habit. Completely changed my life. The Miracle Morning, getting up early, having 2 to 3 hours for yourself, visioning, taking action on those visions, affirming, all that has just been a life changer for me. Second thing, the compound effect goes hand in hand. The compound effect to me is because for some people, that's a little change. Well, you know, I'm already getting up at 6:30, get up at 5:30. Get up at 5:30, give yourself that extra hour. For a part-time real estate agent, that is the hour you build your business, because you can service your clients at nights and weekends when you and them are both off the 9 to 5. That is the hour you build your business. For a real estate investor, that's the hour you identify the properties or figure out how the heck to pay for them while you're still in that 9 to 5. For me, the compound effect was little things I can do, not new cabinets, paint the cabinets, you know, things like that. Go find the refrigerator that's $500 off. Bank that money so you can actually do the first flip or your 10th flip, or put money back in your bank so it's time to do some buy and hold. The compound effect has been the other key tool to my business. As it scaled up, it's just continued to be so important.
Yep. And both of those books are really great. I think Miracle Morning is by Hal Elrod. I can't remember the compound effect, but
Darren Hardy.
Darren Hardy. There you go. And Rich Dad Poor Dad, of course, the Bible for real estate investors. Great
Yosaki.
All right, going on to the next question. This is about your younger self, the person who did not understand real estate, wasn't in the game yet. So go back to the Nick who was looks like 19 years old before he even did that first investment property. Go up to him, shake his hand, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice going forward.
Control your time. Control your time. And that would be literally that sentence. And that 19-year-old will not know, because he was not legal drinking age yet, of what he was in for. But controlling your time is literally what are the distractions that are taking away from you being the highest and best use of yourself. I am becoming a master of my time. I am not there yet. You know, for me, when I was younger, alcohol was a big factor in a lot of fun, and a lot of my biggest mistakes were alcohol related. I still drink and have a fun time, but it's in a little segment. It's a time blocked calendar of when I can have fun, because there's so much more to life than just having fun. And you can have a lot more fun when you have a lot more money in the bank. Life's not all about money either, but it's about opportunity. And so controlling your time, whatever it is in your world that you need to control, we're all given the same 24 hours. What the heck did Warren Buffett do with that 24 hours a day that I'm not still doing? I want to learn from people like that. And I hope to eventually be a person that people look to like that.
Yep, absolutely. Time blocking is super important. Next question is, it's an opportunity for you to brag. So, lay into yourself, give yourself some accolades. What is it that you are kick-ass at? What is your primary strength?
I think I'm a really good sharer. And I don't want to say communicator, because I say the word a lot when I breathe. That's something new I got during quarantine, because I've done so many Zoom videos. But I really think that I enjoy transparency and sharing my story. And that has been a fun thing for me. And I also, just now I'm relearning numbers. When I was a kid, my mom gave me a little journal to, track my expenses and tracking what I was earning money on. So I was always trying to earn money. And I think as I got bigger in real estate and I got, we went from 9 agents in 2009 to over 250 today. Our goal is to get even much bigger than that. My real estate sales, this has actually been the best year ever during the pandemic. I know how it happened. I can't believe it actually did because I control my time. But I came back to numbers. And that was really something to me that I got lazy with numbers. I didn't want to see them. Somebody else could do that. Well, nobody did it. And nobody had the passion for it. So know your numbers. And I've re-found my love for numbers.
Awesome. I love it. So this is the last question, and this is for the viewers. You've given us plenty of, wisdom about your experience in real estate and, what it takes to actually be successful here. So I'm sure people out there want to get in contact with you. What is the best way for them to go about reaching out to you?
Well, good question. I have my same social media handle everywhere. I told you I like communication and sharing. Social media is the best way. And on all my social media, I've got my personal contact information. It's at Nick Libert, NICKLIB as in boy, ERT on all social media. Follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. I've got a pretty cool YouTube channel. It's got too many videos. I'm trying to clean up the content. But it's all directly from me. It's my phone. Sometimes that's very obvious, like this, that there's no crew behind me. But that's the transparency, and I love communicating with people and meeting new folks.
Perfect. I love it. And if you guys want to reach out to Nick, if you click on the little more in the description of this episode, it'll pop down the full description, and in there you'll see the URL. It'll probably be to LinkedIn. You can go through, click there, and say hi to Nick. So again, Nick, thank you for hopping on. I had a pleasure talking to you today. And for everybody else who is on this episode with us, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this, so we appreciate having you here. Again, the best way to support the show is just to subscribe, like, and share this episode with your friends and family. Other than that, I hope you guys have an absolutely kick-ass week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investor's Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesaler's Template for quick assignment cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.